earlier this week I talked about us going into the book of Ezekiel, right? So we're going to end up going into the book of Ezekiel later on. We did a little bit of it this week, and we learned some different things about what the Most High's desire is for his people, for us to do, and how he would listen to us if we were willing to give up our idols, right? So everything that we're talking about has to do with empowering us to be better people and to have better character. Let me change this right quick. And I want you guys to feel free to ask any questions at any time, okay? So this week's Torah portion is called Wai-Yi-Shlach, and it means, and he sent, okay? And he sent. And we're talking about who did the sending? Who did all the sending in this Torah portion?
Jacob
did. Yaakov did. He did all the sending, right? So, and what are some of the things that he sent?
The animals, wives, kids.
Yes, thank you. So he sent his animals. He sent, which we see that he gave a multitude of those, okay, in a different procession. So he sent his animals. What else did he send?
He sent his wives and concubines.
Sent his wives and his concubines. Okay. Concubines are wives that don't have any rights, inheritance rights, right? But they serve the purpose of having children and for the man's personal sexual needs. Okay. So he sent the animals, he sent the wives and the concubines, and he also sent Malachim, which we see that Malachim are not just divine, but they're actually can be humans. So he sent Malachim, which are messengers. Okay, so he sent messengers as well. Okay, so he sent those things as well. All right, and then there was an individual that wanted him to send them away. And do you guys remember that? We'll get into it. Okay, so Wai-Yi-Shlach means and he sent, right? There was a purpose behind sending everything, all right? Now let's dig into it. I have a lot of information to cover. So he says, I'm sending to tell this news to my master in order to win your favor. And that was when he was sending the Malachim first, and they came back and said, your brother's coming, but he had 400 men. There was no response. So he didn't know what was going to happen. So the first thing he did, he said, well, let me send some animals. Let me send some gifts. So he's sending all this to, and he's sending messages with the procession of these animals and these gifts and the camels and the donkeys. He's sending all that in order to gain the favor. And he calls Esau his master. So if he's my master, then of course he's saying that I'm going to be your servant. Why did he say this? Why did he say, I want to be your servant? Think back about what his father had told him when he stole that blessing. Remember what his father said? He said that I'm going to make you the master of your brothers, right? And your brothers are going to be the ones who serve you, right? Servant, service. So he's saying your brothers are going to be in a service to you for the rest of your life. So what he's trying to do, everyone, is he's trying to appease his brother and appease his anger. He's trying to, placate him. He's trying to get him off of him. He's trying to calm him down. And it's been over 20 years, right? So what he's saying is, you're my master. So he's changing everything around. He's giving all these animals and all these gifts and all this kind of stuff to win his favor through what they would call a mincha, okay, which is an offering. And then also too, as if he was giving it to the Elohim. If you notice when he talked to Esau, he says, when I saw your faces, as if I was seeing the face of Elohim. Because what he was doing was he was indenturing himself into service to his brother. He's telling his brother, I'm your servant. Now, does that contradict what the blessing is? If he's saying this?
No.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't contradict it, but what it is we understand that he's operating in what they will call by human means. Okay. He's trying to make sure that he can protect himself through human means. Right. And a lot of times when we're trying to get out of situations, we try to use this idea of appeasement to get what we want. Okay. Just like in your Torah portion, there was a man who raped Jacob's daughter, and they came and they said, hey, my son, he really loves your daughter. And what did the young man say? You do remember? What did Shechem say?
He said he wanted to marry her.
I want to marry her, and I will give
anything you want.
Anything you say. I'll give it all, because he's looking to appease the anger of the brothers and the family. You see? So often we're willing to say these things. We're willing to show something to, hey, let me get this person off of me, right? So that was another thing, because what was he trying to find in the eyes of the people? It's right here in your verse. What was he trying to find?
Favor.
He was trying to find favor. Okay. And so we want to find out what favor really is. Because that's what the whole Torah portion is about. It's about finding favor, right? And finding what they would call Cain. Okay. That's what he was after. That word favor means Cain. Okay. Chan is pronounced Cain. Okay. And what Cain is, everyone, Cain is a camp, right? From a Hebraic perspective, we always have to look at what these words mean, because favor can mean anything. Hey, let me do you a favor. What is that? It could mean anything, right? But in Hebrew, it means something that has to do with a camp, like you see in our picture right here. Okay, it has to do with camping, right? And so we're going to break this down right quick to show you what favor truly is and what it's really called. Okay. Some people might call it, what you would say, when you were in the church, you used to call it the grace. That's what favor is. Well, you can't quantify it, because it's still an abstract term. So in Hebrew, you have to attach concrete definitions to words. So your eyes can see it, your hands can feel it, your nose can smell it, your tongue can taste it, your eyes, you know what I'm saying? Everything, all your senses have to be engaged in order for it to be real. Okay, abstract thinking is not necessarily real. Those are thoughts, and that could be anything. So it can lead you into a different way. You might think of favor might be giving someone some money. Now, when Shimcom wanted to give whatever they wanted, and he did give to them what they wanted, did it still work in his favor? Did his desire to win favor based on what he gave, did it work?
Nope.
No, it didn't.
No.
And why didn't it work? Somebody tell me, why didn't it work?
Because he got himself and his people killed.
Well, yes, but also too, he committed a heinous.
Oh yeah, he defiled the daughter.
He defiled a daughter of Israel. Okay. Now, a lot of times said he humbled her, right? So he had sexual intercourse with her, which would a lot of people say that is called rape. Okay. So he raped her. So his daughter got raped, she got defiled, and she's a daughter of Yisrael. Okay. Now, if you and I were to understand the significance of being a daughter of Yisrael, you would understand why they went in and what did they do? What did Simeon and Levi do?
When plundered everything and killed.
They went and killed
captured.
every male. Okay, because they defiled a daughter of Israel. Okay, Yah's giving us a clue. The significance of a daughter of Israel means that she is actually set apart. She's never supposed to have been touched by anybody outside of the permission of her father. Okay, Yah's giving us a clear picture of what's going to happen to the nations, because this is what the nations have done. They have raped the daughters of Israel. See? So there's a penalty for that. And even if they try to join themselves through the means of whatever it may be, that still doesn't get rid of the crime that happened. And because of a crime that happened, there really is no appeasement. Just like there's no appeasement for a man to commit adultery with another man's wife and think that he can come and he can offer him a gift. I mean, I don't have a slide on it, but it says in the hot anger and displeasure of a man, they're not going to accept a gift. They're not going to accept a gift. You touch my wife and you did something to my wife. You think I'm going to accept an offer or some money or whatever? It's not going to happen. I'm going to kill you. That's how it works. Right? And vice versa. That's how it works. Okay. So there's that idea of jealousy, right? But this grace has to do with a camp. Now, when you break this word down, the first letter of it, right, of Cain is the letter Ket, which we know, which is a wall, right? And then it also, this idea of a wall means to surround. So when you look at this picture, you see all these tents, right? And what they're building is they're building a wall. By them being together and being next to each other, it builds a wall, something to surround. So surround gives you this idea of protection, because that's what a wall does. A wall actually separates too, the inside from the outside. So anybody that's on the outside of the wall is considered to be a stranger. Okay. The next letter of that word Cain is a nun, which has to do with a seed. And what does a seed do? Somebody tell me.
It sprouts,
It
multiply.
sprouts and it continues. You see, so once you put it in the ground, eventually it come out and look like this picture. It'll sprout out of the ground and it's continuing. It's life process. So what Cain literally is a continuation of this wall, right? So it's this wall. And once you have this continuation of this wall and you have this protection, everything inside the camp then becomes beautiful. It's a protected space, okay? It's a place of beauty. And when it talks about beauty, what it's talking about is how everything is operating within that space. Okay, just like when we have our festivals, they usually call it a Chag, which begins with the letter Ket, giving you that wall, and the Gamil that talks about for people to gather together and to travel. And so it's a time of people gathering together, right? And so this idea of beauty is found inside the camp, which then you would look at the word for compassion, right? Because inside the camp, inside the family, inside this protected space, we are showing each other compassion. And that's what's beautiful, right? You can have a group of people that can work together as a community, be literally dressed in the same fashion, eating the same type of foods, thinking the same type of way, speaking to each other in the same manner, and exchanging ideas with each other that is consistent to the growth and development of that community, right? So that's what Cain is. And so when our father was asking for, Cain, he was asking for favor. He was asking, hey, let me continue. Let me continue. Let's continue to be a family. Let's continue to be a community. Let me have that, right? I want to be accepted, right? And that's what Shechem was after, and yet he didn't receive it, as we stated for the reasons before. And then Yaakov said, Elohim of my father Abraham and Elohim of my father Yitzchak, Yahweh, who told me to return to your country and your kinsmen, and I will do you good. Now, this is the beginning of his prayer that Yaakov is saying, because he didn't know what his brother was going to do to him. So now when he got into this trouble and he was afraid, because he was afraid of his brother, he began to pray, and he reminded the Creator of a few things. Number one, you are the Elohim of my father Abraham. Okay. He didn't call him grandpa. He's my father, right? And the Elohim of my father Yitzchak. So he had a relationship with Yah. He knew that, hey, you've been with my grandfather, you've been with my father, and now you've been with me. And you're the one who told me to return. Earlier this week, we talked about shuv, which is to return, right? So Yah gave him a command to return, right, from where he was and say, go back. On his way back, he was faced with the idea of contention and fear and aggression from his brother. And so he's saying, since you gave me this command, because return was a command to your country and kinsmen, and I will do you good. I'm only operating out of what you said. So now Yah's letting us know that if you and I are going to listen to the Most High, we have to listen to his commands. Things would be good for us if we were to do what he said. But yet, even though he's doing what he told him to do, you can still see that he was facing what they would call opposition, and he still had fears and he still had challenges. And that's going to be part of our walk. Okay. In his prayer, he said, I'm not worthy of all the love and faithfulness that you have shown to your servants since I crossed the Jordan with only my staff. But now I have become two camps. Okay. So this idea of him not being worthy is kind of when we think about being worthy, none of us could say that we are worthy, right? I'm not worthy, right? And it's like, we would think, well, he's putting himself down and he's saying, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. He's not saying that. He's not saying that he's not worthy, right? He's not saying that I'm not worthy of being this. I'm not worthy of having a family. He's not saying that. He's not saying that he's not worthy of love. And he's not saying I'm not worthy of your faithfulness. He's not saying that at all. What he was saying, everyone, and if you see, I highlighted the camps here because that's about that Cain. That's about that community that, hey, look, I've grown into a family, and you have made me into this, and I'm continuing, and I have a family. And if you notice in the picture that we had with Cain, it had all the tribes and how they were all situated in a camp, because that's how Israel traveled, in camps. So this is like a forecast of what Yah was going to do for Israel, right, through the 12 tribes. His intention was to bring them out to the wilderness for them to be in camps. So Jacob right now is saying, it's not that I'm not worthy of your love and your faithfulness, like a lot of us think that, we're not. That's negative. He's not saying that. What he's literally saying, everyone, okay, this is the reason why we need to understand his language, is because if you don't understand his language, you're going to be thinking that I'm nothing, like the church told you, and that I don't have ability, and I don't have skill, I don't have knowledge, I don't have power. And that's not true. That's not true at all. In our Torah portion, we find out that you have all the things that was just mentioned. In this Torah portion, you're going to find out that you are worthy. Okay? So the word that is being used right there is called kwaton. Okay? And I'm going to show you what it means here in just a moment, but I just wanted to point it out in the scriptures to you. It's this word right here. Okay? And it consists of these three letters, the kof, the tet, and a nun. Okay? And this part right here means I, right? And so he's saying kotonity, meaning that I'm not worthy. He's saying something totally different, right? What he's saying is that I am, okay, so what happened there? Something just happened. What happened? Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, something happened. I don't know. It's not that I'm not worthy. What he's saying is that I'm insignificant. When he was born, okay, or before he was born, excuse me, the Most High told his mother that the younger is going to serve, the older is going to serve the younger, okay? The younger in Hebrew is called kwaton, to be small, okay? That's all it means, okay? So when Jacob said that I'm kotonity, right, he's saying that I'm small. And he's saying that I am insignificant. Okay. I'm insignificant. I don't have any significance. Okay. And what he's talking about, everyone, and according to the scriptures, he's making reference to one pebble on the seashore. He's making reference to sand. Okay. When you pick up a grain of sand in comparison to all of the beach, what is it? According to what's on this slide here, what is it? It's small and it's what? What's quatom? It's insignificant. Okay. So he's saying in the grand scheme of things, I'm really small and I'm insignificant. It's not that I'm not worthy. Okay. It just means that I'm small. Okay. That's all he's saying, is that I'm small compared to whatever it is that you have planned for me. I'm nothing. He's understanding what Yah has told him. Yah told him that he was going to outnumber the sand of the sea. He told him this. He said, you said, and this is in his prayer, you said, I will certainly do you good and make your descendants as numerous as the grains of the sand by the sea. Okay. Which are so many they can't be counted. I highlighted that word by the sea because that, again, is another mistranslation. Right? So looking at this picture, where's the sand at? Is it just on the shore? Where is it?
It just continues on.
In the sea.
Where? What?
On the shore and in the sea.
It's in the sea. It's not just on the shore. So listen, when he talks about by the sea, a lot of people think, oh, he's just talking about this area here. You know, in all the earth, they have a whole bunch of places with beaches. Right? He's not talking about that. Do you not know that the sand goes not only here, but it goes in, down, and that's the foundation of the sea? So he compares himself to one pebble or one grain. And he said, you have now told me that you're going to make me as numerous as the grains of the sand by the sea. So in comparison to that, I'm insignificant. I'm small. Right? And he says, not by it, but in it, which are so many they can't be counted. Making reference to the descendants of Jacob. The descendants are going to be as numerous as the sands in the sea and on the land. The descendants are going to be like the what? The dust of the earth. The descendants are going to be like the stars in the heavens. How many stars are in the heavens?
Countless.
Can't
Can't count them. How many elements of dust are upon the earth?
count it.
You can't count it. You understand? So when Yah made the heavens and he made the earth and he made everything beneath the earth. Listen, I'll go right here. The heavens have the stars. Israel's counted among the stars. The dust of the earth, right? And then the sand in the sea. So he hits the heavens. He hits the earth. And he hits beneath the earth in the waters. So why is Yah comparing the descendants of Jacob to and that he told Abraham and Yitzchak? Why is he saying this? What is Yah saying? Yah is telling us, as small as you as an individual think that you are, you're part of the collective. You're not part of just the earth. You're not just part of the waters. When I've made these things, I was thinking about you. When I made the stars, as many as they are, each one of them I named by their own name. I'm telling you how infinite I am. I'm telling you that you're always going to continue because you're connected to the heavens, the earth, and that which is in the waters. You are my people and I'm your Elohim. You're not unworthy. You're just small in the grand scheme of things. You understand? So he's not saying that I'm not worthy. He's saying that I'm insignificant compared to the bigger picture. You're worthy of y'all's love. Don't you ever think you're not? That's like saying a star is not worthy of being born, or sand. You don't think y'all knows how many grains of sand is on the in the ocean, or dust on the earth? Israel's everywhere. That Qaton, the opposite of Qaton, is to be Gadol. Okay, so the Gadol is the idea of being significant. Okay, this is what Esau was called. He's the Gadol, meaning he's the oldest. He's the larger one. He's large. Okay, means he's significant. In our Torah portion, you find out how significant he is. The last couple of Torah portions, you can find out how he is. He was coming with 400 men. You know, he had many wives. He was a hunter. He was he loved to shed blood. This is who he is. He sheds blood for fun, for gain. That's what he loves. He loves to hunt, and he loves to kill. That's what he loves. He loves blood. I love it. I love the smell of it. He loves taking innocent lives. Versus our Father, who calls himself the insignificant one, what did he love? Somebody tell me, what did Jacob love? What was he? What kind of man was he?
Like animals and food or something.
Yeah, he loved to cook.
Yeah.
He was one who dwelt in tents. He loved to learn. He loved to study. He loved to teach. He loved to communicate. You understand? He loved to speak. He loved to think. He loved to reason. You understand? Two different type of people. Yah says there are two different nations, two different type of people. One individual likes to kill and hunt and all that kind of stuff. The other one likes to learn and study, to think, to reason, to cook, to enjoy life, to have fun doing what he enjoys doing. You see? So this, okay, but right now everything is being, thought about like who's the best and who's the greatest. So everyone looks at the greatest. But do you not know that the end goal is for Yah to end wars? Yah's end goal is to destroy weapons. So Yah's getting rid of Edom. If you read your Haftarah, it's in the book of Obadiah where he says, I'm going to destroy these people. Why? Because they love to kill. They love anger. They love to hold their anger. They cherish anger. They like to conspire. They like to do all those different things, not just for animals. They switch it over to human beings too. They look at human beings as animals. See? That's what it is. So the Most High is saying, these are not the type of people that I want to be holders of my covenant. That's the reason why Yah chose Jacob and not Esau. That's one of the reasons why he hated him too. It's because he's not going to be for the better good of the world. Because the true one who's Gadol and the true one of significance is going to be the one who's like this. In the book of Exodus, Shemot chapter number 34, verse number 6 says, Yahweh descended in the cloud and stood with him there and pronounced the name of YHWH. Yahweh passed by him and proclaimed YHWH. Yahweh is Elohim. He's merciful. He's compassionate. Listen to the qualities of Yah. He's merciful. He's compassionate and he's slow to anger. He's rich in grace. Highlight it there because that is called Chana, which comes from Cain. Same letters, Ket and a Nun. Okay? and truth. He's showing grace to the 1,000th generation, forgiving offenses, crimes, and sins, yet not exonerating the guilty, but causing the negative effects of the parents' offenses to be experienced by their children and grandchildren, even by the 3rd and 4th generations. So if you and I decide that we want to go against the Most High, not only are you going to pay for it, but your children are going to pay for it, all the way down to your grandchildren, to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate him, not love him. Those who love him is the ones that he's showing grace, mercy to the 1,000th generation. If you know the Berith that we've been going over, which is the covenant of the Most High, he says that I'm making mercy and grace for those who love me, and those all the way to the 3rd and 4th generations. That's the ones and who are guarding my commandments. So everybody who hates me, I have something for them. Those who love me, I have something for them. See? So this grace right here is what we're talking about, which goes back to the idea of being a camp, going back to the idea of family, going back to the idea of continuing. Because the word Cain, right, means to camp. This word comes from that word Cain, and it means ka-na. That's how you say it. And it means to encamp. That means that you're going to set yourself up as a camp. Okay. So you see this ket right here, and then you see the noon right here. Okay. And then you got this added hey. Okay. Which is ka-na. And ka-na means to encamp, and it means to relax oneself, and it means to bend down. Okay. So the grace that Yah is talking about is saying, look, I want to encamp with you. I want to bend down and set up camp with you. See, and that picture that you see right here is exactly what he did. So over here on your right-hand side, you see the fire of Yah, and then you see the camp. So I'm going to camp with you guys. I'm going to let you set up your tents. You guys are going to set up your tents, and you're going to put them all next to each other. You guys are going to be a family. I'm going to teach you how to live. I'm going to teach you how to eat. I'm going to teach you everything, because you're a special people to me. That's why I can't let nobody defile you. I can't let nobody rape you and get away with it. I can't do these things because you're set apart from me. Out of all the nations of the world, I chose you to live with. I chose you to bend down to. And we know that bending down, if one is to bend down, what do you have to use to bend down? What part of your body do you use to bend down?
Your knee.
You use your knee. So when we're talking about bending down, we're talking about a knee. If you're talking about a knee in Hebrew, you're talking about to bless. And when you bless someone, you bend the knee in order to give them what they will call a gift. So Yah bends down to us and he gives us a gift. And the gift is, it's him. The gift is the Torah. The gift is I want to live with you. The gift is I want to change your life. The gift is I want to give you the best of the best while you're on the face of this earth. That's what I want. So your families can continue. Kana also has that idea of compassion. Again, going back to the camp. Okay. So he got up that night, according to your Torah portion, and he took his 2 wives and his slave girls and his 11 children, and he forded the Yabok. Forded there means he crossed over to this place called Yabok. He took them and he sent them across the streams, and then he sent his possessions across, and Yaakov was left alone. A couple of things I want to point out right quick is we talked about, his 2 wives. We know who they are. We know who the slave girls are. But it says he had 11 children. He had 11 children. Is this true? Yes. He had 11 children, but who's not counted?
Benjamin.
Sons. Who's not counted?
Benjamin.
Well, Benjamin, excellent. So Benjamin is not even born, okay? Benjamin, which means my son of right hand, okay? His mama named him something else called Ben-Oni, meaning my sorrow, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But he had 11 children. Somebody's still missing. Who's missing out of these 11 children? because Benjamin will make it 12. What about Dinah? Why is she counted among the children? This word children means sons, called Bain. So, or Banayim. So why isn't she counted? Why is not Dinah counted as one of the children? Let me tell you why.
Is it because she's female?
Yes. Okay. Males are the ones who are counted, not females. Why? Why is y'all not counting the females?
Because, oh no, males carry on the bloodline.
Yeah, the males carry on the bloodline. The females are going to be the housing unit. They're the tents.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're the females of the tents. Okay. And what your tent is your home, right? Which is your possession. Okay. Okay. That's what it is. Your sons are the seed that's placed inside of this tent to continue the family. Okay. When Yah told, whoever holds the seed is the one that's counted. Remember, Yah told Abraham, he said, you know, through Sarai, your seed will be counted. Right? Through him, not through Eleazar, not through Yishmael, through the sons. Okay. So listen to me carefully. Yah's telling us that the sons are the seeds, and the seed is the one that's holy. Okay. Once the holy seed is put into this tent, it will bring out either a male or a female. The females are to house the seed, and the males are the one who carries the seed. All seeds belong to the males. All children belong to the males. Okay. Because again, the males are emblematic of the one who they call a Malachim. Okay. Then when the Malachim come, they come as men. Okay. A woman is a part of a man. She's been built and designed for him, but Yah doesn't recognize her outside of the man. So females are not counted as they're not counted as individuals. The only way that a woman will ever be counted is if she's connected to a man. That's it. That's why it's tough for a woman who doesn't have a husband. That's why it's tough for a widow. That's why it's tough for you know, a woman who doesn't have that security. Okay. So I don't want you sisters to get upset. It's like you can't even get circumcised. Your connection to Yah is through a man. That means you move away from your father's house and you go into your husband's house. That's what it is. I had some sisters get mad at me. It's like, what are you talking about? No, you are a possession. That's what you are. You're a possession, and you shouldn't be mad about that because Israel is Yah's possession. This is the way that he set it up. So the daughters are not going to be counted. That's the reason why he says 3 times a year, who's supposed to show up? All the what?
The men.
All the men are supposed to show up. In the covenant, when the Most High says, what does he say? He says that I don't want you to lo thakmod, your esheth of your neighbor. Yah tells you that he doesn't want you to do several things. He says, I don't want you to desire your neighbor's what? Wife. Or his house. Or his servants. Or his animals. Or anything that belongs to your neighbor. So she's included along with everything that's mentioned there, which is a possession. And it's not only a possession, but it's a prized possession. Because the Most High gave these things to that man. You see? So women are prized possessions. That's what they are. Daughters are prized possessions. So if one wants to take your daughter, that's the reason why they asked for you to give a dowry. Remember what Shechem said? I'll pay anything. I'll give you whatever you ask for. Let us just marry the girl. It didn't turn out that way. Okay. But he crossed over to this place called Yabok, right? And when he went to this place, he sent, again, Shalach, them across, his family. He sent Shalach, what? His possessions. As everything that belonged to him. And Yaakov was left alone. Why is this important? Because that word Yabok, that place that he went to, was a place of emptying. It's like he went and he's poured out now. There's nothing left in him. We can learn from this because the Most High is telling us this is the place where you need to go in order to have your experience with me. In order for you to receive the blessing, you're going to have to be emptied. You got to give up everything out of you. Okay? Because he had a whole bunch of possessions, but he had to send everything away from him. He had to send his wives. He had to send his children. He had to send his donkeys, his asses, his camels, his everything. He's by himself. He's completely alone. And that's for a reason, because you can't receive the blessing when you're not empty. The true blessing. You understand? So here it is. Then some man wrestled with him until the daybreak. And when he saw that he did not defeat Yaakov, he struck Yaakov's hip socket, so that his hip was dislocated while wrestling with him. Now, this wrestle here is different than the wrestle that Leah had with her sister, term wrestling, for attention and wrestling. No, this right here was like a grappling. This was like, we getting down. The dust was flying everywhere. That's what he's talking about. It was very violent. Okay. But he realized that he did not defeat Yaakov. That word defeat there is called Yakol. It means that this in particular man, because it's an Ish, he did not have the ability to defeat Yaakov. Okay. And the reason why he didn't have the ability is simply because Yaakov was a very strong man, right? He was strong not only physically, but he was strong mentally too. Okay. So the man said, let me go because it's daybreak. But Yaakov replied, I won't let you go unless you bless me. I highlighted these words, let me go, because that really there is a mistranslation. He's not asking to let go. Okay. According to our Torah portion, okay, he's talking about something else. When we're dealing with the Torah portions, you need to understand that you have to understand the alphabet, the Hebrew language. That's what the Hebrew language is called. It's called the alphabet. Okay. I have these two letters that are highlighted in red, the A and the B, which in Hebrew corresponds to a Hebrew letters. Okay. Which are the aleph and the bet. If you put those two letters together, it's called the alphabet. Like here, alphabet, alphabet. They're just putting those two letters together. Now, why would they choose the first two letters of this word alphabet to be the Hebrew language? It's interesting. So let's look at what this means, okay? So the aleph, of course, is an ox. The bet is a tent. Don't make any sense to me. The ox, the tent, what? That's the alphabet. That's the alphabet. The ox in the tent. That doesn't make sense, right? Let's make sense of it for me, Akika. It means the strength. That's what aleph means. The ox means strength, and the bet means house. So it's the strength of the house. Aleph plus the bet equals father. It's called an av. So when you're talking about learning the Hebrew alphabet, and you're talking about learning the language, you're talking about learning the language of your father. That's why I put great emphasis on it, because it has to do with your father. Your father is the strength of the house. So when this man said, let me go because it's daybreak, but Yaakov replied, I won't let you go unless you bless me, is a mistranslation. He's not like, hey, release me so I can go. He's not saying that. What he's saying is Shalach. He's asking him to Shalach, and that's the name of our Torah portion. Wai-Yi-Shlach. Okay. Just a quick Hebrew study right quick. When you talk about Shalach, because that's the name of our Torah portion, right? When you look at this, it says Shalach. Shalach. Okay, so this corresponds to this letter, this one here, and this one right here. Shalach. Shalach. Okay, so you already know how to make these sounds. You just don't know what the letters look like. Okay, so you already know half the language, right? You already know it. It's already there. It's in you. That's the name of our Torah. Shalach. And shalach is a verb. Okay, it's an action. That's what it is. It's an action and it's a root. Okay. It has 3 letters. Any type of Hebrew word in a verb is always going to have 3 letters. Then, sometimes it may have a 2 letters, which is a parent root, but I just wanted to focus on these 1, 2, 3. It's always going to be 3 letters. So anytime you have 3 letters together like this, right? Depending on what the word is, will be a verb. It'll be an action. So shalach is an action. So what he's saying is that I want you not to let me go. I want you to actually send me away. Okay. So remember, he's been sending everything. He sent the animals. He sent his servants. He sent his wives. He sent the donkeys. He sent everybody, his wives. He sent his children, so he can come to a place of being alone, so he can have this experience. If he didn't send everybody away, he wouldn't have not had this experience. So we recognize the Most High took him and sent him out of the land of Padan Aram in order for him to come to this point to have this experience. And the life of our Father is being played out for us so we can see what Yah is trying to do with us because we're his descendants. And so he's saying that I'm going to send you out too, right? So for example, the Most High, in our case, he sent us out, he exiled us, right? And he sent, which is to send out, he sent us out in order to bring us to a place where we can be what? Alone. When you get alone, right? And when you're alone, you're fearful like he was, like our father. You're fearful. You have a lot of, anxiety about some things. You're unsure. You're all these different types of things. So Yah's playing this out. So when it says Wai-Yomer, and I'll read it in Hebrew right quick. It says Wai-Yomer et shalakani. This man is saying, he's saying to him, shalakani, send me out. And this is in a way that's a very forceful way, because they're having a fight. Okay, that's what this is. He's fighting, right, with this man. And he says, and he's staying consistent. And he says, for Kiala, the Hashakar, meaning the dawn is about to come. And then he said, the he right here is Jacob or Yaakov. Yaakov then says, he says, no, I will not send you nowhere until you bless me. Until you bless me. Okay. So I'm not going to send you anywhere. So what we see is that Yaakov is holding on to something greater than his possessions. Remember, he sent everything else away except for this man. Shalach. Okay. So he sent his possessions, he sent his wife, he sent everything. But now he's asked to send here, and he says no. He says, absolutely no. I'm not sending anything. Why is that? Why is he holding on to this? Listen to this. So when I said the 3-letter word shalach, meaning to send, I want to show you how easy it is to figure this out. Okay. Once you learn a word like shalach, okay, because I don't want you to go through your Torah portion, don't learn what these words mean, okay? You can see that all you need to do is add certain letters to your verb and you will get a sentence, okay? This means I will send away, okay, in a very forceful way, okay? You can do actions in all different types of ways, but he said, I will send away, okay? The I right there is going to be just another letter. That's what Aleph means. Okay, the power of the language of your father, of the alphabet, the first letter, we see that it means an ox. We see that it means power. We see that it's number 1. It's the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. We see that it has to do with strength. We see it's the first letter of your father, but also it means I will. Okay? These are some of the different aspects, so you can see how multidimensional it is. It's not just the letter A. It's not that. It's very, very powerful. So when you look at this, you'd be like, okay, it means more than just strength or an ox. It means I will. Okay? I will what? I will do the action. Okay? I will. I will do something. I'm going to do this. And the action is the verb. I'm going to do this action. Okay. And I will has the idea of something future. So the aleph can mean the future. I'm going to do something in the future. Okay. These are the concepts that we've never been taught. We've just been thinking I means I, and that's it. No, 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 no. It has a lot of power. It means I have the power to do something. Okay. And that's what the Most High wants you to have. He wants you to have power. Okay. I will actively, you're actively doing something. Okay. So I will means I'm actively, not that I'm letting it happen to me. I'm going to be the one who's actively doing this. Not anybody else, just me. Okay. The man said, let me go. No, he didn't. He said, send me away. It's daybreak. But Yaakov replied, I won't send you away. Okay. Unless you bless me. That won't right there is called lo. Remember, this is the language of your father. And he's trying to tell you and I what this means. So when he says, I won't, Yaakov is saying something pretty significant. He's saying that I'm not going to do it now. I won't do it. But when we break this word down, lo, because lo means, somebody tell me what lo means, who's been in my Hebrew class.
No, not never.
No, not never. Okay, begins off with the letter lamed, which you know it gives you the L sound. Everybody knows what L sounds like in look or love. You just didn't know what the letter looks like. Okay, but that's what it looks like. Okay, or L sound. Okay, and then the next letter is an aleph, which we already went over, which is silent. The alephs are silent, by the way. They don't make any sound unless something's attached to it. Okay, so what do you see? What do you have above the aleph right here? What do you see? You got the lamed and you have an aleph. What is there?
Dot.
There's that little dot right there. Okay, excellent. So you're going to see dots all the time, right? But when you have a dot that's above something, like you have right here in this aleph, that's going to give the aleph its sound. Okay, because the aleph is what? It's silent. And it's not going to make a sound, because that's what language is about, making sounds. It's not going to make a sound until something is attached to it, either underneath it or above it. Okay. So what does it mean? What is that dot? Let's see. That dot is an O sound, as in open. Oh, that's all it is. Do you know how to say oh? Yes, you do know how to say oh. You've been taught since you were a kid. It's one of the vowel sounds. So when you put the silent aleph together, that's silent, and you put the O sound, which is here, what sound is it going to make? So a silent plus O equals what?
Oh.
Oh, that's right. It's just oh, that's it. So you can see that our Father's language is one of which you would call mathematics. It's adding and it's subtracting, right? So when you do the language, all you're doing is you're going to add certain things to letters. You're going to subtract certain things from letters. Okay. You're going to put stuff together. It's like what they would call a puzzle. Okay. So everything is going to be like in a puzzle-like form. And once you learn the pieces of the puzzle, right? So as you get the pieces of the puzzle together, you'll be like, oh, I put it together. I know how to say this. Okay. Then once you learn how to say it, then you have to understand what it means, you know, and then, you know, you can attach it to an idea or a concept. So the Hebrew language, the language of our Father, the Av, the Aleph, and the Bet, the Aleph Bet is to get you to learn how to make sounds and to get you to understand concepts that are connected to it, because the Hebrew language is a heavenly language. It's a heavenly language. It's the language from your Father. Okay. So how do you say this? If the aleph is silent and it just has this O sound, how do you say it? Oh, let's everybody say it. Say oh. Oh. That's easy. That's how you say it. That's it. It's just that's how you say it. Okay. You said, well, what does this do in our Torah portion? Because I'm trying to get you to understand what Yaakov is telling this man, okay, this Malach. All right, so when you put the L sound, and then the O, then you got lo. Okay, that's how easy Hebrew is. It's not hard. Don't be intimidated by it. Okay, but lo again means never, not. Okay, never, no, and not. It's an absolute. It means it will never, ever, ever change. It's really called a negative. And what it means by negative is that when he says that I won't do something, remember he says I won't Ishlach, Ishalakaka, I won't send you away. He said I'm going to negate the verb of a possibility of this ever happening. So when he's saying that I won't send you away, that's downplaying what's being said. He's telling him that I will never let you go. I'm not ever letting you go. And why was that a concern for the Malach or the man? Why was that a concern? What did the man say to him? Why did the man want? Huh?
Yeah, daybreak was about to break.
Okay, so day was about to break, right? So why was the Malach? Why was this man concerned about the daybreak?
That was the question I had.
Same.
Okay, so according to the book of Job, the sons of Elohim have to appear before him, right? So this man or this Malach was trying to get somewhere because he had a what? You know, if you're late to a what? Hey, I gotta go. Where you gotta go?
I have an appointment.
I got an appointment. So Yah's giving us some insight about the Malachim. They have to get to their appointment. That means that they're on a schedule. Do you remember early in our Torah portion, it talked about how he saw Malachim coming up and down on the ladder, and they were coming back and forth upon the earth, up and down. So when you talk about them doing their activities, they have to keep a schedule. They have to make their appearance before the Most High, and they have to do it before the sun comes up. Okay, there's some other writings that you and I are going to get into later once we develop our understanding where they have to appear before the Most High. Okay, and this is the reason why Yah tells us that we have to appear before him at a certain time. When they have to appear before the Most High, you and I have to understand that because we're his people, we're going to have to appear before him too. So what Yah is really doing is I'm saying that I have set you apart like I've set the Malachim apart. You're set apart. And set apart means that you're set apart for certain times. So for today, what is today?
Today is Shabbat. Set apart.
Today is Shabbat. Is today a set apart time?
Yep.
Do you have to get things done before the sun comes up?
Yep.
Just saying. So is it possible that he knew that it was coming time? Probably, maybe this happened on the day before the Shabbat. Maybe.
Yep. Maybe.
Did you think the Malachim keep the Shabbat?
Yep.
Did our fathers eat the bread that Malachim ate?
Yep.
So you and I have a lot in common with these messengers, don't we?
Yes.
Were they told to guard the laws and statutes and commandments of Yah?
Yes, sir.
Think about what they said. What is man that you're what? Mindful of him. Why do you consider him? Because man is another type of messenger. You understand? So they have schedules that they have to be on. That means that you and I have a schedule. If you're going to be attached to Yah, you got to know you got to be at a certain place at a certain time. You got to be there. That's why that's the significance of this word. You don't suppose to just say, well, it means no, not right now. It means never. So Yaakov is saying, I'm never going to let you go. Ever. Never. He was not bent on letting him go. That adds more flavor to the idea of him saying that I want something from you. And we're going to find what it is. So this word, lo, has great significance. This is great because it's mentioned at least 12 times. Guess where it's mentioned 12 times at? Somebody tell me. Take a guess where it's mentioned 12 times in that in particular chapter. What chapter of the scriptures do you think is mentioned 12 times? All almost in a row. Think about Mount Sinai.
That's about Deuteronomy chapter 4.
chapter number 5, you're very close, where he says that, listen, I am Yahweh, Anoki Yahweh Eloheka, the Asher Hotzitika, the Me'adres of Mizraim, the Beit of Avadim, I'm Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim from the house of bondage. Lo Yeh, meaning never to exist to you, Elohim Akorim Al Panai, never shall have another Elohim before my face. That lo there is right there. The next one is Lo Ta'aseh. Never shall you make an image of anything that's in the heavens above or in the earth below or in the sea beneath. Hitting those 3 areas, the heavens, the earth, and beneath the sea. Never, lo, significant. Never should you take my name in vain. Never should you break the Shabbat. Never should you work on it. Never should you desire your husband, your neighbor's wife. Never should you lie. Never should you steal. Never should. It's all lows. Absolutely never. That's how significant this is. So when our Father is saying this, he's saying, I'm not going to let you go. Don't plan on it. The man said, send me away. And our Father is saying, I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to send you away. I'm not going to send you away. I won't send you away. See? Wai-Yi-Shlach for the Kiyala, the Hashakar, and the Wai-Yomer. No. Hashalakaka. No. Ki im merabaratani. I'm not going to let you go unless you bless me. Okay? Not unless you bless me. Not unless you give me what I want. So what is he after? He already has animals, wives, children. He has a father. He's just afraid of his brother, and he's got to face that. So what's the blessing? The blessing is stop being afraid. Part of it. There's a word in here called im that I want to share with you. Okay. This word here has a tremendous impact on how we should understand this Torah portion. Okay. Again, a little Hebrew for you, im. Okay. How you say this is im. Okay. Im. First letter is Aleph. You see that? First letter is Aleph. Now, instead of having a dot above it, it has a dot underneath it. Is it still the O sound? No. According to the rule, if it's above, it's O. If it's beneath, it's something else. So you got to know when that dot appears somewhere, you got to know where, what it means. So the Aleph, again, is a letter, strength, power, ox. It's all there. Silent. Okay. It's all there. Same letter. But what's underneath it? Like our brother told us, it's a dot. That's all it is. That dot is the E sound. That's all it is. Like it sounds like B. B, E, E. So that dot right here means E. The Aleph is silent, and there's a dot. It's E. So when you combine them together, how would you say this? You don't have to say the Aleph because it's silent. So what do you say?
E.
You say E. That's it. That's it. Now, let me ask you a question. Prior to me telling you what this meant or what it means or what the sound is, did you know how to say E? How long you been saying E? All your life. Years. So do you have to worry about this? No, you already know it. You see? You don't have to worry about it. You already know it. It's already there. Okay. Because that's the language of your father. So that's how you say E. Okay. So when you put these things together, here's quiz. Oh, here it is. Quiz question. For those who want to participate. These 2 letters right here is represented by what? Where do they go? Out of all this right here, where would I attach that? Where would I make that? Where is it at? What represents these?
That dot.
The dot right there. That's it. Okay. So if that's the case, now that we got that solved, now we're going to solve the puzzle. So if the only letter that's left is this, and I know this is silent, and I already took care of that, then what letter does this M right here represent?
The mem.
The mem right here. That's it. So when you put those things together, those 2 sounds together, you have im. Okay. And I'll tell you a little bit about this later. Don't worry about that. Okay. That means something too. I didn't want to overwhelm you. That's called a final mem. This letter on the end of this aleph is called a final mem. The reason why it's final because it's the last letter of a word. Okay. So it makes the same sound as M as in mother. Mother. Mama. Money. Okay. So okay. That's what this makes. It's the sound. So when you're a brand new baby and you start learning, you hear your father talking and your mother talking, she's teaching the baby how to make sounds. And that's how you learn the Hebrew language. You got to literally become a child all over again. Okay. So when you put those together, the E plus the sound, you get im. This word here, that they would call a conjunction, means if. It's conditional. Okay. Why is this important? It's important because when you look at what he said that I will never send you, I will never send you away. Okay. Ki im baraktani, unless or if you bless me. Okay. Unless you bless me. So it's conditional. Okay. So that's what the E means, is conditional. Right. So there's conditions tied to being blessed. So when he says here, im, it means if or unless you do something, then I'll do this. Okay. I want to take a little pit stop right quick and bring you to the book of Hosea to bring more context to this, so you can really understand why he's after this blessing. In the womb, according to the book of Hosea, meaning salvation, he took his brother by the heel. That's the name of Jacob. And in his strength of his manhood, he fought with an Elohim. Okay, he fought with Elohim. Yes, he fought with an Malach and won. And he wept and pleaded with him. Then at Bethel, he found him, and there later speak with us. He would then later speak with us. YHWH. YHWH is his name. When I read this, it brought something to my attention. Number one, when it's talking about him fighting, right? Every word that we've been talking about, like how to have your call, Canaan, and all those things was brought out. Okay. So I want to take the time to let you know what he's saying here. Okay. So when he said he fought with the Malach and he won, and he wept and he pleaded. Okay. So it's telling us all the elements of what went down. That fighting right there is not what you and I would think it is. Okay. This is word sar. Okay. S-A-R. Okay. It comes from the word Sarah, which is our mother. Okay. But it also has another meaning. It means that, oh, I didn't mean to push that one. It means, oh, come on, work for me. Exert oneself and push to the limit. You and I are not fighting Yah. You're not fighting him. Yaakov wasn't fighting Yah. He wasn't fighting against Yah. He's not against him. He's not his enemy. Okay. So get that out your mind. He's not an enemy. He's not fighting. He's not toiling. What he was doing is he brought himself to complete exhaustion right? Through this idea of exertion, okay? To the point where he extended himself past the limits in order to obtain what he was looking for, okay? So it says that he exerted himself to the Malach, okay? And he, while you're called, remember our word, you're called? It's right here in the yellow, you're called. It's actually you called. They got it conjugated as you called me in the past tense. He had ability, okay? He exerted himself. He had the ability and the power, and he wept for which our word Cain right there, for grace. That's what he did. That is the formula for us. This is it. This is the formula in order to get the blessing. It says that at that place that he had this fight, it was at Bethel, but he renamed it Peniel. And it says that the most high Elohim had revealed himself to him there, and he showed himself, and then the person who's writing the book Hosea says, even at this point, it was because of what Yaakov did that they were able to have the house of Elohim, the Bethel, the house of Yah, that allows us to call upon Yah now because of what our father did. Our father went to the place of exertion. He continued to fight with Yah. He extended everything he had. He gave all ability, everything that he had, he gave to him. He wept, and therefore he was looking for a continuation, which is that grace. He was looking for his family to continue because he was afraid that his brother would kill him and the family. That's the reason why. He wanted to save his family. Okay? The blessing is, I ain't gonna let the cat out the bag. He wants to save his family. Okay? So these are the elements that you and I need in order for things to work out for us. It's pretty clear. Okay? You're not going to fight against Yah. You're going to use all of your ability to the point of exertion. And at sometimes you're going to end up weeping because you're going to be in the face of adversity. And when you face that, you're going to need all the power that you have in order to achieve the grace and the mercy from Yah. Yah's not going to just give us anything. You got to prove yourself to Yah. That's what he's telling us. If you don't do these things like your father did, you won't get the blessing. Okay? And there's a reason why he wanted this blessing, and I'm going to tell it to you right quick. He wanted this blessing because he wanted to change. Okay? He wanted to change in his life. He wanted the continuation of his family. He was in search of compassion from Yah. Okay? And that's why he kept telling the man, he says, send me away because it's daybreak. Yaakov said, no. Lo, Ashalakaka, I'm not going to send you away. What? And key? Unless you bless me. And unless you give this to me. If you do this, I'll do this. Okay? So the question is what is the blessing? What is the blessing? Was the blessing education? What was it? Was it money? He had that. Was it possessions? He had that. Was it wives? He had that. Was it children? He had that. Was it strength? He had that. Cognitive ability? He had that. Was it the desire to hold on? He had that. He's been having that since he was a baby, before he was formed in the womb. He's been having this in him. Now he's come to a point of his life where he's looking for something greater than what of himself. And you and I have to be able to look for that. We have to go beyond ourselves. So the question is what is the blessing? What is the blessing? What do you think the blessing is?
The blessing was a name change because
there you go. That's it. Bingo. I want to change your name. If I change your name, Dr. Uray, what am I changing?
Character.
I'm changing your character. Why do I want your character to be changed, Rivqua? She's not available. I want to change your character, because your character has to line up with my principles. If you are the people that are set apart from me out of the whole entire world, you have to be different. You can't adopt the ways of the nations around you because they're into just shedding blood, and they're into drinking blood, and they're eating people's bodies, and they're calling on a man and killing the innocent. They're not interested in righteousness. They want everything handed to them. I'm not interested in that. I want to actually do a real change in your life. The blessing is the name of Yisrael. That's what he was fighting for. That's what the man gave to him. The man said, from now on, you shall no longer be called Yaakov. Why? Because Yaakov is the one who is not just fighting, but Yaakov is the one who is the supplanter. He's the one who's taken the heel of something. Because he's on the end of things. He's on the heel, because that's what it means. Yaakov means heel. He's on the heel of his brother. He's been fighting for first position. Y'all saying that's not who you're going to be anymore. But Yisrael, that's the blessing. Because you have shown strength, both to Elohim and men, and have prevailed. That word strength there is what they call saratha, or sarati, okay? Right here. Ki, sarita, sarita, sarita. Sarita, okay? So sarita means that you have not strength. Check this out. You have what they would call endurance. You have endurance. You have the ability to continue. So your whole, you were able to achieve your goal. He's 60 years old, by the way. He's been through a lot of different things. Be prior to the blessing. But let me ask you something. After he was blessed and he received his blessing, did he go through anything? What did he go through? Let's name a few different things that he went through after he received the blessing. What are some of the adversities and challenges that he faced? Let's talk about it.
He had the challenge of meeting his brother.
Yeah, so he met his brother. He had the courage to do that, right? So he's met his brother Esau. What did his son Reuben do to him?
Married with his concubine.
His son defiled his bed. What happened to his daughter?
Got defiled.
She got defiled. She was raped. What happened to his wife, Raquel?
She died.
She died. Okay. What happened to his father?
He died. Passed away.
He died. Okay. Right. And his sons caused all the nations around them to be upset to come where they were going to come against them. So he's in fear there too. So even after the blessing, even after the encounter, even after the endurance, he needed the blessing in order to endure everything that he had to endure after that. So folks, this walk with us and with Yah is not going to be easy. You have to persevere through the times of difficulty in any situation that you're going to be faced with. You got to be the kind of person that's going to stand still. And you're going to have to withstand, not just stand, but you're going to have to withstand the problems that you're going to have. You're going to be faced with people dying. I read something the other day. It said when Sarah died, they wanted to find out if Abraham was going to go and speak something bitter, and he never did. You can't be bitter about death, especially when it's the natural order of things of Yah. You can't be mad at Yah because he makes some rich and some poor. You can't be mad at Yah. You understand? So we have to understand that Yah is trying to adjust our character so that we can be able to withstand these things and we can have some endurance. So we can have the sarita. That's what Yah wants you to have. And you see our mother's name in Sarah is right in there. That's the only way that you and I will be qualified to be rulers, is you have the ability to endure. the hardships. And then because of the nations, they're having these things, they're faced with these challenges too. And we're going to have to teach them how to endure. You can't do that if you haven't gone through yourself. And that's the reason why the Most High is saying this. This means that you're going to have the ability, the Yakol, to continue, to Sarah. Okay? That's what it means. That's what Sarah means, to continue. Through what? All the way to the end. I'm going to exert myself, even in the face of challenges and difficulties. Even in the face of fear, I'm going to continue. You need to continue your walk with Yah. You need to continue to study. You need to continue to pray. You need to continue to learn. You need to continue to be patient. You need to continue to strive. You need to continue to thrive. You need to continue. That's what you and I are built to do. You see? And those are the ones who have the ability, is those who have the desire to continue. The man asked, "What is your name?" And he answered, Yaakov. Then the man said, "From now on, you will no longer be called Yaakov, but Yisrael, because you have shown strength both to Elohim and men and have prevailed." What is prevailed? Prevailed means that you have power now to continue. See? It's not just being afraid of someone, of another man. It's not just being ripped off by your uncle and being lied to that you have to overcome. Not being exiled from your land that you have to overcome. You and I are going to have to overcome a lot more. We have to overcome the traditions of men. You have to have the power to say no. You have to overcome their ways and their way of thinking. Or this week I talked about how we still have some residue of Christian thinking. You know, we want that to still be part of our narrative, how we used to do things and how we thought about things. And we want to include that so everyone else can feel included. When the fact of the matter is, Yah's looking for a complete change of our character. So that takes time. But you need power to do so in order for us to succeed. Because that's the goal. The goal is to have a result that you can look at the end and say, I've met my aim. I've succeeded in this walk with Yah. In spite of all the challenges and the difficulties and the hardships, I was able to succeed because I maintained strength. See? And that wasn't something that Yah gave to him. That was something that came from within himself. And that's what Yah is telling you and I. You and I are going to have to be like our father Yaakov. And you have it in you. Just like you have the sounds of the Hebrew language, E and I and O, you got that in you. You just got to let it come out. You can't be afraid of nothing. You can't be afraid of new challenges. Don't be afraid of a man either. Don't be afraid of circumstances or a job. Don't be afraid of weather. Don't be afraid of nothing. When Yah is with you, you don't have to be afraid. And as we see, after he had this experience, when he saw his brother, he wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid. Not at all. Not at all. Because he understood whatever is going to happen is going to happen. He fought for what he wanted. He exerted himself for what he really wanted. And when you get that, you don't have nothing to be afraid of. You can face your brother, the one who hates you. You can face it all the way. Okay? So that is from our Elohim. That's what he wanted to bring out today for us. Any questions or contributions or additions that you want to bring to this conversation before we get into our cahoots?
Hi, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, Akika David. I wanted to ask you, would the firstborn daughters of Israel ever receive the blessing and the birthrights?
What they do is they're able to receive the inheritance of their father, right? But then they have to go marry a man within their father's tribe, right? So they can be passed on to a son through that way. It's not like he isolates them, right? But when the Most High looks at Israel, he's talking about Israel as his sons. If you notice, all the sons of Israel, all of their names are on the breastplate of the Kohanim. All their names are on the black onyx stones. All the names of the sons are on the gates of the dwelling places, right? Not to just exclude the women. He's saying that the way that it's designed is the only way that a woman can literally be connected is she has to be connected to a man so she can be that oneness. That's what the Most High, the reason why I bring this up is because often a lot of our women, they're following the ways of the heathen. And what they're doing is they're living outside of their husbands, thinking they're independent of them, and they're not. If you notice what the Most High says about a woman who makes a covenant, or she can't even vow without her husband saying, "Hey, I approve it or disapprove it." A young woman who's living underneath her father's house or his roof cannot say a vow without her father giving approval. So the fact of the matter is that the Most High is looking, when he talks about the sons of Israel, of course, he's talking about all the people, but more specifically, the sons are the ones in who he's talking to. That's just what it is.
Yeah, no, I do agree with your point regarding the females, I mean, the daughters, right? But yeah, and it just dawned on me that I've never read where any father blessed them with the birthright and also with the blessing. So it just, alrighty. I just wanted to verify that, and you answered.
Yeah, he can. And that's because it's transmitted through the bloodline from the seed. It has to do with the seed. So if the man plants that seed, and then of course, you see that even out of a woman will come a male, right? The male he's the priority. He's the one who's he could be the king. You know, if you find in the line of a woman who had a son who was in that era, you could pick that son. So it's not like she's not used in that capacity. She's very, very important for the housing of this seed. Okay. She's just as important. Our daughters and our women are the nomadic tents, and they provide a place of protection and covering and education. You need them. Okay. They're necessary, and they have to be honored. Okay. Well, Yah's covenant and who he's talking to, you go read the covenant, and he'll tell you, he says, look, I don't want you to take this from your neighbor. Don't look at his wife. Don't delight in her. Don't do nothing that belongs to your neighbor. The wife belongs to the husband. The daughters belong to the husband. That's what it is.
Yes. Also, you even have that a brother could marry the wife, his deceased brother's wife, so that the seed can continue.
So he can continue. So, and to raise up a what? To raise up a name for him.
Right.
Because the names of Israel, because those names are the ones that the Most High, like if you think about Jacob's name and you think about the name Israel, that name has already been pre-recorded. That's not a random name that he just said, okay, let me call you Israel. That name is written down in the heavenly tablets. The name Yitzchak wasn't, he told them what to name him. So his name has already been written. You see? So Yah is talking to the sons of Israel, and the daughters are not counted as the sons. They're not counted as the sons. They are the people that are connected to Israel. And if you notice, for example, Deborah, she was a judge in Israel, right?
Yes.
They have power. They have positions of power. Yeah, it doesn't say that you can't do that. He says, actually, when the daughters of what's the name, Zavolakad, came to him and said, what about our inheritance? He said, yeah, you get inheritance rights, but you still got to marry a man within your father's tribe. And then that's how you pass that on, you see. So that's what it is.
Thank you. Yes.
Praise Yah. That's a great question. And again, I'm not minimizing our women. I'm just telling you what it is. You're actually you're supposed to be more prized than anything else on the face of this earth. That's what he's saying. If you defile a daughter of Israel, you're supposed to be put to death. Period. So that's how the Most High looks at it. And we have to fall in line with that. I'm trying to give our women the idea and the understanding that don't try to look at yourself outside of your husband. Don't look at any blessing that you have is not for you. It's because it's through your husband. That's what it is. And if it wasn't your husband that you received, it could be because your father. You know, your mother plays a role. He says, hey, honor your father and your mother. So he's not discounting the women. He's just saying this is what it is. All the blessings are going to come from the fathers to the sons. That's just the way it goes. That's Israel. That's Yah's way. Good question, though. Praise the mighty Yah. Who's going to be the contestant today? There you go, Lucas. Well, T. Pam. About to change outfits. I know you are. Oh, yeah. A little chickie with the glasses. Where's she at? Okay. Lucas put on his glasses. Oh, there you go. Dr. Yorez in the house. Praise the mighty Yah. Anybody else? 562-3906. 3 contestants today. I know you're on there, Kent. I knew you was coming, a tiger with the crown. I know you ain't gonna be a unicorn today. With a binky. Dr. Ured, please. What's up with the look? With the ear, I like the earphones, but the little chicken. I mean, come on. Ken, what's up? There's Kenny. Oh, there she is. Dr. Kawika's in the house. You got some stiff competition today. Uh-oh. Hey, Lucas, you can start recording.